Everyone. So today I am going to tell you about lathe machine. Lathe machine is a machine tool generally used to produce circular jobs. So lathe machine, first I am telling you about what is this lathe machine. Lathe machine consists of legs. These two are the legs of lathe machine. This part is the bed part. These are the legs. This part is the tail stalk. This part is the head stalk. This part is the compound rest, and this part is the carriage. And this part is the tool post. This is the spindle. So this is a very general diagram of, this is also called apron. A very general diagram. This is a very general diagram of lathe machine. So what are the main parts of lathe machine and what lathe machine is? In a lathe machine, metal is removed from a workpiece using a hardened cutting tool which is mounted on tool post. So what basically a lathe machine do? Suppose we have a workpiece. This is a workpiece and we want to change its shape by changing its diameter. Suppose this original diameter was D and we want to change the new diameter as small d. So these type of works are performed on this lathe machine. Suppose this is our workpiece and we want to provide it some other shape, suppose this type of shape, and we want to convert this metal or this workpiece into this shape. Then we use this lathe machine. So it has a lot of uses in industry. So basically a lathe machine is used to work upon a workpiece through different operations. Generally, tool post is moved against the workpiece with the help of hand wheels or powered motor. That is, this tool post can either be moved manually on the workpiece or this can be powered through motor. So this lathe machine work on both, that is manual working. We use our hands to work on the workpiece or through power motors. The workpiece is fixed between the centers which are known as headstock center. So this center is headstock center and this center is tailstock center. So this part comes forward and the workpiece is fixed between this headstock center and tailstock center, and the workpiece is mounted and fixed in between these two centers. The workpiece is rotated about its axis. This is the workpiece is rotated. Continuous rotation is given to this workpiece along its axis. When this workpiece is fixed between the centers of headstock and tailstock. The cutting tool which is mounted on tool post. This tool post consists of cutting tool and this cutting tool penetrates into the workpiece and travel a definite direction. So what we do, we have one tool post on which our cutting tool is mounted. This cutting tool penetrates inside the workpiece till the depth till which we want to cut or the type of shape we want from this workpiece. Generally, the metal is removed from the workpiece in the form of chips. So this is our workpiece. So the metal removal from this workpiece occurs in the form of chips. Chips are the removed part from the original workpiece. The metal or the chips are removed. Cutting fluid is also used to provide cooling. When the chips are removed, then a lot of heat is generated near this workpiece, and so fluid or lubricant are also provided for the cooling of the workpiece. Also, lathe machines are commonly provided with a variable ratio of gear trains. So this part, headstock part, it consists of gear trains which are used to adjust or to change the speed of the driving spindle. So now I'm going to explain you major parts of lathe machine. So major parts of lathe machine are lathe bed. So what this lathe bed do? Lathe bed is the main body of lathe machine. So this lathe bed is the main body of this whole lathe machine, which provides support to all parts of the machine. This lathe bed is providing support to this tailstock, this headstock, this carriage and whole apron, carriage and tool post assembly. The whole support to all of these parts is provided by this bed alone. It guides the tool and every other things which are mounted on this lathe bed. It generally consists of lead screws and feed changer. So lead screws are screws which are used to change the speed through gear trains. So this lathe bed is an important part. After this we have head stock. So what this headstock, this headstock, this part is the headstock in lathe machine. What this headstock? This headstock has one main part, that is spindle, shaft and support bearing. So this spindle shaft is mounted on this headstock, and this spindle is the main part which rotates or which help the workpiece to rotate. This spindle, it is directly connected with the gear trains and shafts. So the main rotating shaft upon which chuck is mounted. So this part consists of a chuck. So the chuck is mounted on this spindle, which is the main rotating part in the headstock. Chuck is supported by thrust hearing in the headstock, and this spindle is the main rotating part which is mounted on the headstock. So this is about headstock. After that, the main component is tail stock. So what this tail stock do? The tail stock holds the workpiece. What we have this headstock part. This is the headstock center, and the workpiece is fitted